Simple present tense is a verb tense used to describe an action that is happening right now, true in general, and happens regularly. An example sentence of a simple present tense is I drink coffee every morning. So in the sentence, I is the subject, drink is the verb, and then in the sentence, there's an habitual action which is drinking coffee every morning. Present continuous tense is formed using the present tense of the verb and using the ing form to add in the main verb. For example, I am studying English. So, I am studying English right now. So, the action is happening right now. Another example is she is cooking dinner. So, cooking there is an action that is used to happen right now. Present perfect tense is a verb tense used to describe an action that started in the past and continues up to the present moment. It is formed using the present tense of the verb plus the past participle of the main verb. Present perfect continuous tense describes an action that started in the past and continues to the present, or has just recently finished and focused on the duration of the action. It is formed with have or has been plus present participle verb plus ing. For example, I have been working on this project since Monday. Next, she has been studying for the exam all day. Past simple tense is a verb tense that describes an action that were completed at a specific time in the past, forming the basic past tense of the verb. It is typically formed by adding ed to the base form of the verb, while irregular verbs have unique past simple forms. Example sentences are I watched a movie last night. Next is she finished her homework. Past continuous tense is a verb tense used to talk about the actions or events that were happening at a specific time in the past. It is formed by combining was or were with the base form of the verb and adding ing. Examples are she was cooking dinner. They were watching a movie. I was studying for the test. He was playing the guitar.
Good day. So let's talk about the past perfect tense. So, what is the past perfect tense? So, the past perfect tense, also known as the pluperfect, indicates an action completed before another past action or event. It is formed by using had plus the past participle of the main verb. So again, how it is formed? So the past perfect tense is formed by using the auxiliary verb had followed by the past participle of the main verb. So for better understanding, here is an example. So I had finished the exam. So the question is when it is used. First, it is used to show that one past action happened before another past action. So, here is an example in a sentence. So, by the time he called, I had already gone. Second is to talk about time up to a certain point in the past. So, here is an example. He had lived in Manila for 2 years before he moved to Cebu. And the third one is in conditional sentences, to talk about an unreal past event and its hypothetical consequence. So here is an example. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. So for better understanding, here are the examples of the past perfect tense. First is, I had finished my assignment before I played mobile games. Then the second example is, they had walked to the park. And then the third example is, he had not finished his studies. So those are the examples of the past perfect tense. So let's move on to past perfect continuous tense. So what is the past perfect continuous tense? Do you have any idea about the past perfect continuous tense? So without further ado, let's define the past perfect continuous tense. So, the past perfect continuous tense describes an action that started in the past and continue up to another point in the past using had been plus the present participle of the verb. Example is had been working. So, how is the formation of the past perfect continuous? So, the past perfect continuous is formed with the auxiliary verb had and been followed by the present participle of the main verb. For example, in a sentence, for better understanding is, I had been playing video games for an hour when my phone shut down. So how is the usage of the past perfect continuous? So it is used to talk about first an action that started before another action in the past and continued until the other action happened. An action was in progress for a period of time before another action in the past took place. So, for better understandings about the past perfect continuous, here are the examples. First is, he had been laughing. Second example is, she had been studying for the test all weeks when she realized she forgot her notes. And the third example is, we had been traveling for days when we ran out of food. So, those are the examples of the past perfect continuous tense. So, let's move on to the future simple tense. So, what is the future simple tense? So, the future simple tense, formed with will plus the base form of verb, describes action or events that will happen in the future. Again, the formation of the future simple tense is, the simple future tense is formed by using the auxiliary verb will followed by the base form of the main verb. So here is an example of the future simple tense. I will go to the store tomorrow. So, how is the usage of the future simple tense? So, it can be used in making predictions. For example, he will be absent tomorrow. So, you are making predictions that he will be absent tomorrow. Then, it can also be used in decisions made at the time of speaking. It can also be used to express spontaneous decisions. Here is an example. I will go with you tonight. So he or she is making a decision that is sudden or spontaneous or out of plan. The next is it can also be used in promises and offers. It can be used to make promises or offers. So here is an example. I will support you in the event. So he or she is making a promise that he or she will support you in the event. So without further ado, let's move on to future continuous tense. So the future continuous tense, also known as the future progressive, describes an action that will be in progress at a specific time in the future. It is formed using will be plus the present participle. It describes ongoing actions in the future and formed by the subject plus will be plus verb. Here is an example for better understanding. At 4 p.m., I will be studying for the exam. Next is this year, next month, he will be traveling to Japan. And the third example is she will be cleaning her room. So those are the examples of the future continuous tense. So let's move on to future perfect tense. So the future perfect tense describes an action that will be completed by a specific time in the future, formed with will have plus the past participle of the main verb, subject plus will plus have plus past participle of the main verb. So here are the examples of the future perfect tense. First is I will have finished the exam in 30 minutes. Second is by the time you arrive, I will have gone to bed. And the last example is will you have eaten dinner already when I arrived? And the last tense is the future perfect continuous. So, what is the future perfect continuous tense? So, without further ado, the future perfect continuous tense, or also known as the future progressive tense, it describes an action that will have been in progress for a certain period of time by a specific point in the future. It is formed with will have been plus the present participle of the verb or verb plus ing. So here are the examples of the future perfect continuous tense. First is by the time you call, I will have been cleaning the dishes. Second example is in 5 months, she will have been living in Korea for 3 years. And the last example is by next year, they will have been traveling around the world for a year. So, those are the different tenses and their usage. I hope you all understand, and if you have questions and clarifications, you can comment down below.